Markus, for about 2 years, we were here in the castle and we made a very important decision, which was basically the start of the Healy network.
Oh, yes, I remember this day very well because we met in a bigger group here with CEOs and other important members of the group, and I just sensed that the way we were going to put Healy online and market it through the internet, that this is not the right way, but that it needs real people who experience their own Healy moment, experience what Healy can do for their own life, and then with this inspiration give it to others and explain it to others. And this was kind of the start of the network idea. And I remember that I was asking everyone about their opinion. You were also there. How did you receive this idea?
Well, first of all, it was very interesting for me to observe that the whole group of people, I guess we were 6 or 7 people at least.
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah. Everybody agreed to the idea, so we had one voice,
yes,
with which we decided this, which was really amazing. I didn't expect such a clear decision. And what is important for me generally in my life is when I discover something that's really valuable, I really have the tendency and the wish to share it with other people. And that is exactly the spirit of networks, as far as I understand it. And I really like that we are able to do this with Healy and to be able to share a product from which we believe it's really helpful for many people. And I experienced it by myself. And so I think it was a really good decision.
Would you have that time believed what we see now happening right now with Healy, having, I think, around 150,000 members in more than 50 countries in the world?
2 years ago, I've never thought that we would grow that fast. I thought we will slowly, organically grow, but then the growth keep going and going and going in a very fast speed. So I'm really amazed that we sit here now, only 2 years later, and with such a big impact on the world and helping so many people, and also struggling to keep up with the speed of growth.
Yes, this 2 years passed like 2 moments, for me at least, because it was so intense time. So in this intensity, I think it's good to rethink after 2 years now, do we still have the same vision? What actually is the heart of the vision of Healy? Why do we do it? So how do you experience this? It's still the same vision or did it change for you?
It's basically the same, because my idea and wish was that we will be able, through Healy, to get a device to many people that combines the benefits of microcurrents with special frequencies and the selection process of the information field together in one small mobile device, and to reach many people and to help many people. And this is still the same vision, and I think we are on the way and on track. If I think about what changed, it's the fact that through the possibility of having feedback from so many people and seeing the results of the application of Healy, I think we get new ideas what we can additionally do to help people. There's the same core vision, but it brings up new ideas how we can evolve.
I think that's really also fascinating me, the feedback from so many people. And it's like something you feel, people write us and they thank us for what we are doing, but we also have now the tools to very systematically ask for the feedback with our surveys, something like retrospective and prospective studies, which we can do with having so many people connected to us who use Healy every day. For me, it's really inspiring to see the number of testimonials growing and to see the result of the survey. If people are asked, do you feel an improvement in your life with Healy, or a strong improvement, or even more, to get such an amazing feedback. It's always more than 90% who say that Healy really improved their life in so many ways. Absolute fascinating development.
And I remember you sometimes told me some stories from people that directly send you an email or a
Right.
message to thank you and to thank the product and tell their story, which was sometimes really amazing. Do you remember some stories?
Oh yes, I remember many of the stories because people still continue sending me their stories. Most of them I wouldn't like to tell. They're really very personal, confirming, I think, our original trust, which we have that frequencies are very powerful and the information field behind even makes them more effective. So I think these are really the two, you mentioned them already, the two factors, the two pillars on which the whole Healy world is based, in the trust in the information field and the frequencies. It's a great confirmation of our original approach. So the information field was there already in our development with TimeWeaver before we started to work with frequencies. I know that you have a very broad vision how the information field technology can change. So what is your vision now about what can we do with the information field?
To me, the whole topic of information field is more easy to understand if I compare it to something that I already know from my life, from my daily life. Our brain is basically separated in two halves. So we have a left brain side and the right brain side. And the left brain side is more for logical processes, for linear thinking, for logic, for the intellect basically, which I would, in the analogy thinking, compare to the regular computer CPU.
Right.
So there are logical processes going on, some rules are applying, and you, when you know the input and the rules, you can forecast the result. So that's basically what our left brain is doing. But we have a right brain side that's the same size, which is more connected with creativity, picture recognition, sense of harmony, and it's more connected with seeing the wholeness of the thing. I would like to compare that to what we do through the information field. So you have a question and a request, and you get a result. It's not easy to forecast what the result will be because it's coming from the information field and it's not built in a logic, in a causal logic. And I think creativity is a similar process. You cannot forecast what an artist will do because it's creative. The information field part is for me this creative side in us. It's this intuitive, this whole side, and it also is connected to the wave. We know from the physics you have this particle and wave analogic model. So depending on how you measure something, it can behave like a particle or it can behave like a wave. And this is also a duality. And like our left brain and right brain, we have this duality with the information field, which is the right brain, it's the creative, intuitive brain, and the left brain, which is the logical causal brain. And just from looking at the size of the brain, it's the same. Each half is the same size. I can argue that it makes a lot of sense to include decisions from the information field in processes, like we include our right side of the brain. We are not just robots, we are not just mechanical, describable beings. We are something, we are creators also. And so I think the information field has a really, really important role and can play a really important role in our life, also when we deal with technology.
What you say very much resonates with me because my first big fascination was science. And when I was young, like 16, 17, and I started to go deeply into physics and also that time quantum physics, during school still, I had such a strong passion for science because I believed that if there is some truth, it is in science. And if there is truth in science, it's in the most fundamental science, which is physics. I started really to focus on it for many years. But as you described, this approach is only one side. It's the left hemisphere side, which tries to analyze things and see them in a causal connection, tries to really understand things through the intellect. And then even in my own life, I had to complement it with another very consequent way, choosing the spiritual path, becoming a monk and going deeply into the inner world. So for my personal journey, it was reconnecting these two sides of myself, which can be described with the left and right hemisphere. In the same way, the whole society has gone one-sided, because all the big decisions nowadays are controlled by my more mechanistic ways to see things. And I think that's the great urgency, the great necessity in these times to really complement the technological achievements which we're having and which are sometimes very helpful. And especially the information technology through the internet, to complement it with a complementary science, which is like putting the two halves of the brains together again. So therefore I'm always coming back to my own roots that live within me. On the left side science and on the right side spirituality. And I believe if humanity will succeed to integrate these two sides, which are both a basis of culture, all the religions which you had in the past, the spiritual traditions, they basically created culture. And now science created a new culture, which is on the surface. But below there is still the very deep-rooted spiritual culture, which we had in Europe also, which was there in Asia, and partially there is still in India and in China, wherever you go. So, and to bring these things together again, these two cultures, science and spirituality, I think it's not only will be a big step for humanity, but it will be necessary to be able to deal with the results which technology has in our life. And Healy is something combining. It's technology, it's high-tech technology, it's using smartphone, it's using satellites, it's based in the cloud, it's using all this new ways how to deal with information, how to manage one's life, and brings back the reconnection to the deep spiritual source within ourselves, which we can also call the information field. So therefore I feel what is happening right now, this development of this wonderful Healy network, is really like one of my life dreams getting fulfilled.
And as you said, it brings together the two sides. I feel it's also bringing together technology with life itself.
Right.
So it's more direct connection to life than other type of technologies are.
That's really important to understand, because in the beginning I thought people would be more skeptical, like, we are coming with a technical device. How will we bring back life into technology? But it's really the device, the Healy itself, is just something like the antenna for the very deep impulses from the information field, and they are translated into frequencies. And frequencies with a very low current, with a very low energy, touching the body, touching the field of the body, and leaving a very, very deep impact. This is kind of a connection to the source of life, or to the original life energy, which our body itself also uses.
I'm really looking forward to the video when you will explain with the chart, with the picture, how this all comes together, to get a deeper understanding of how the Healy works and how it works in the body and how it works in the information field.
That's a really good idea to make a video from it, because in the last months I was thinking a lot about how to visualize what Healy does, because there are two main directions, but it's easy to show with a picture.
Yeah,
it's easy to show, but the principle in itself, it's very easy, because we're using the energy and we're using the information. Energy connects to the body, and information connects to the consciousness. So the energy which we are using to transport the frequencies is the electricity, is the microcurrent. And the frequencies is the language, is something like information, which is carried with the current. But the microcurrent, with especially the low frequencies, has already an effect on our body, on the cellular level. Whereas the higher frequencies, they are not depending on the current anymore, but they have their own effect by connecting to the information field. So there's these two directions in which Healy works. Down into the matter and up into the consciousness and into the bioenergetic field. But you're right, it's easier to show with a picture.
To me, it's also a symbol of life. If you look at a tree, for example, when is a leaf of the tree alive and when is it not alive anymore? As long as the flow goes in both directions, it's alive. It gets something from the tree and it gives something back.
Right.
But when it's dead, this flow stops. And I think it's, if you have something that's a symbol for life, you need it also connected in both directions. Up and down, in this case, the body and the information field.
Yeah, looking back at these 2 years, I think it's a very exciting time right now in the network. We have reached so many people just basically with one product, with the Healy itself. So I think that's an amazing achievement, but we have the plan to, on the basis of this, develop a whole world of different applications and different products, like the Healy watch, which has already come, which will be very much improved in the next months. The Healy itself, which gets more and more applications. And then there is the Heal Advisor app, which will help the people more and more to use all the potential of Healy. Then we are working additionally on new ways how to apply the frequencies to the human body, to our human existence. So there's so much to come in the world of Healy, but the Healy itself will always stay the heart of the whole Healy world. If we look now into the future of the next 2 years, what are the most important things you think we should focus our attention on?
One thing I believe is important to generate studies that show the results of working with Healy, to show through the studies in which areas what works best, be more reachable by people who want to have not only the experience by themselves, but want to know the experience of others through studies. So I think that's an important part. As we know, we have seen that there are possibilities to have not only through the electrical current, but through other means also get the information in the information field. So there are maybe other easy to use ways of using the product. We should also ask our members what they would like to see and what they would need, try to achieve that as much as possible. What do you see for the next 2 years?
Well, when you mentioned the need of the members, I immediately thought about something which is so important also for me, which is the Healy Academy. Because when I look back at my own history, I started, the first thing I really started was an academy. At that time it was a Vedic academy, so I was always very keen to teach all the background knowledge, or the science behind, or the applications. And I think in the last 2 years this is something which could have gotten more attention. So I think that's something for the next 2 years we shall definitely build up a wonderful academy which will give all the background information. And if you want to dive deep into the science behind Healy, you can, or if you want to know more about the spiritual aspect or about potential medical applications. And then even for therapists who want to use Healy and related devices in their practice. So there's so much knowledge which we can give to the people from our experience. So it's one of the main things I'm looking forward, that we will have a very, very strong basis. And I think we're doing now the right steps to go in this direction. It's a wonderful opportunity to inform people about all the possibilities which are there. If you integrate science and spirituality, if you use the power of frequencies and vibrations, and if you find ways to connect to the information field, either through our technology or just in daily life. Because what you can do with Healy, basically our body and our brain and our consciousness can do for themselves. So it's a whole world opening up for someone who gets a Healy. There's much more to know, and for this we need a very strong Healy Academy.
Yeah, I also really like the idea with the academy. I think that will help a lot.
Yes, it will definitely do. And yes, this is something which I did already. And it's just a question of taking the time to do it. And I'm definitely inspired to do this now.
I honestly hope that we very soon will be able to have solved all the growth issues that we have. I'm very aware that our members are not always satisfied with the service that we can deliver sometimes, but we definitely are very conscious about it and do what we can do. And I hope that all our efforts will bring soon such a result that everybody's happy using the back office tool, getting the right numbers, and so that the process itself is working very smoothly and nothing is missing, because I believe that's really the basis for the network to grow. Mm-hmm. We have a great product, and if all the service around and the infrastructure around works completely smoothly, then I think it will be a joy for all the members who are already in the network to show the product to others, to invite them to join the network, and then we will all have a lot of fun growing together to the next step of evolution.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, and I would so much like to now really thank all our members and all those who I know they stayed from the first day until now, and sharing with us the experiences of Healy, but also going through all the challenges which in the pioneer phase are absolutely normal, especially if you have to undergo the process of scaling. So I'm really very happy to have so many members there who are willing to do this and who are pioneers and help people if they have difficulties with their own Healy or with our services. So I think it's so wonderful to see this, and I'd like to thank all of you for this, going this amazing way together with us.